All right, Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh once again. We have Sister Aulat and Suliat on for the intern and volunteer onboarding meeting. So this is a bit informal, but really the idea is for me to share some additional information about the AFNIR project with you. And that hopefully will give you a good sense of where you fit in the organization, how you can help us. But I also want this to be, your experience with us to be something mutually beneficial. So I also want you to think in terms of what you can take away as far as your experience, how that can serve you as well. So I will start with a little intro about myself. My name is Demi Fozia. Well, actually, my full name is Abby Demi, so that's where the Demi comes from. Fozia Adebo Adelaja. I am a mom of 3 boys. High school, middle school, and elementary school, literally, they're spread out that way. And I am a public health researcher by training. I did the international health, international development work for many, many years. But then about 2016 or so, I decided to become a stay-at-home mom and homeschool my boys and also complete my doctorate. My boys are now back to school. I've just retired from, retired from that job, so to speak. They're all now in regular school. But you know, the organization itself has taken a lot more of my time, which is why I needed that reprieve. I needed that time to kind of get it going. So I'll also tell you a bit about the organization, how that came about itself, but a little bit more about my background. I went to UMBC, believe it or not, about 22 years ago, 21 years ago, I graduated from UMBC, and I was also a Shriver student. So I'm definitely aging myself. But I went there for undergrad. I majored in psychology and biological sciences. The degree's up there somewhere. And also, I was pre-med. I was on the pre-med track, but decided to do public health. I was a peer health educator, and I got introduced to HIV/AIDS research. I became an HIV/AIDS counselor, so I would counsel students and also work with the community in the Baltimore area. I would counsel individuals who are going for testing. So that really opened me up to the whole world of HIV/AIDS research itself. And I got intrigued. I told my parents, I don't want to do med school anymore. They were not happy. But they became supportive at some point. Eventually, I decided to do my master's in public health at Emory University, focusing on international health or global health as it's called now. I lived in Botswana and South Africa for a few months doing my dissertation work, my thesis work there. I went on to work for an international development organization. A lot of my work centered around Sub-Saharan Africa, so more so in Southern Africa, the Caribbean, a little bit of Latin America. And I really did a lot more. I was more into the HIV/AIDS prevention care and treatment world. Did a little bit of water and sanitation work, and other areas of maternal and child health work, other areas of public health, but it was really HIV/AIDS research that I was into. And then, 2016, I stopped working, went on to complete my doctorate, traveled the world with my kids as I was homeschooling them, and we returned end of 2019, and 2020 COVID hit, right? And we traveled a bit, and we actually lived in Egypt for almost 2 years. So the idea, my bright idea was, once the kid came back to the US, I was going to get them back into the community and reintegrate them to the community and things like that. And when COVID hit, we couldn't do any of that. So we were kind of stuck at home, and the kids who were looking forward to coming back home couldn't really interact with their friends and the community. So then I started toying around with the idea of creating the space for my kids to be able to continue to interact with other kids in the community. But really the idea around the AFIA project is not new. This is something I was I was known as that sister in the community who called up my friends to say, hey, what are we getting kids into this weekend? You know, I was never one to want them to sit in front of TV the whole weekend and just do nothing but watch TV or be on games the whole weekend. I would want, you know, encourage other sisters, other families in the community. Let's go for a hike. Let's go to the museums in DC. Let's just do something with the kids. So, you know, got them healthy. Got them active and away from just a sedentary, sedentary and stuff. So it kind of followed along with my passion. And from there, from 2020, when we were formally organized, it's become a life of its own. And it's in a good way. It's really great to see how we've grown over time. But we definitely now need more hands-on, more volunteers, more interns to help us as we continue to develop. So I'm going to share my screen and give you more information about the organization. Are you seeing my presentation?
Yes.
Give me a thumbs up. Okay. I know I changed the configuration on my computer, so I don't know how this is gonna. Let me see slideshow from the beginning. So you see the full screen, or you see the one with the notes?
The full screen.
Okay, excellent. All right, great. And by the way, if you have any questions, feel free to, you know, raise your hand or speak and stuff, and I'll just pause. All right. Okay, so when I tell folks we're the AFIA project, some of them, the first thing they ask is, what does AFIA mean? You know, what's in the name, right? Well, AFIA comes from that dua. I'm assuming you're both Muslims. The dua that Muslims make, this that says, Allahumma inni as'aluka al-afiyah, which is, oh Allah, I ask you for afiyah. So afiyah is one of those Arabic terms that's really hard to give like a direct one-word translation to. So to have afia roughly translates to well-being or good health. It encompasses the well-being of an individual, a community, a family. To have afia is to be in a state of good health, a state of wellness, to be safeguarded from afflictions, to have adequate sustenance and things like that. Everything that makes you well and wholesome, right? So my hope is that the AFIA project can begin to help make a difference in the lives of minorities in this in our area, which is a PG County, but we definitely have a reach around the DMV, the wider DMV, DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. So that's my hope, is that we can make a difference in the lives of minorities in this area. So we are a health and wellness organization, and we operate at the DMV, and our main aim is really to build a legacy of health and wellness, and more to come about that. But the way we're trying to do that is to disrupt health disparities. And I can go a little bit into what health disparities mean, but I'm assuming you both have a good sense of what that is, and we can talk from there, but we'll touch on that in a little bit. So we are a 501c3 nonprofit, which means we are formally recognized by the federal government. We were formalized in 2020, but like I said, the work we do in the community really spans all the way back at least 10 years. When our kids, and I say our, meaning myself and other community members who are part of the AFIA project, when our kids were babies, and now they're like 15, 16 years old. So we've been doing this for quite a bit. All right. And then we serve the DMV area. But of course, especially during COVID times, we were able to expand that reach. We had some students who will call into our various sessions from as far away as Texas, as far as North Carolina, and things like that. So definitely when we have virtual, I told folks the silver lining to COVID was the fact that we got out of our box of thinking that you cannot participate or benefit from things unless you're right there in person. So we definitely have that reach outside of the DMV area. All right, so this is our mission. I don't expect you to memorize it, but I do want you to note a few things. So our main focus, we're on a mission to build a legacy of health and wellness by addressing health disparities in the community. For far too long, the Black community, and this includes African Americans, Africans from the diaspora, Nigerians, Ghanaians, or other West Africans, East Africans, or even Caribbean Americans. For far too long, we hear the story of, oh, diabetes runs in my family, high blood pressure runs in my family. Well, why can't good health run in our families? So I want us to start thinking in terms of changing that legacy of negative health outcomes to more positive health outcomes. And I want you to note three things, our main focal areas. The way we're hoping to address health disparities is through health promotions, community engagement, and scholastic achievement opportunities that we provide for our students. So you may wonder, and we hope to do all of this through proper organizational guiding governance that reflects Islamic values and principles. And I tell folks this, it's an organization that's founded by Muslims, and we do focus a lot on the Muslim community because that is where our the primary reason that this was created for. However, we do not discriminate. We have served Muslims as well as non-Muslims. We've served minorities, Blacks, Latino, as well as those who don't fit neatly into that minority group. So we definitely are open to all. But I always like to put it out there that we are governed in a way that reflects our Islamic values and principles. All right. And again, we're building a legacy of health and wellness. So in everything that we do, we always try to keep that in mind before we say yes to any kind of activity or yes to any kind of program that we put out. I'm not sure how familiar you all are with the social determinants of health, but these are the 5 areas. These are conditions that are in place where places where people live, learn, and work and play, right? That affect a wide range of their health and quality of life, risks, and outcome. This is something that was developed, I believe, Healthy People 2020. So back in 2020. Actually before then, but this is the diagram where it identifies those 5 areas. And what's interesting to note is that at the AFIA project, we address to some degree, at least 3 of this social determinants of health. The health and healthcare piece with our various health programs like the community field day, the women's wellness retreat, and things like that. The neighborhood and built environment, while we don't have the power, finances, funding to go tear down like a dilapidated building or housing unit or the ghetto, we don't have the power to change that. But what we can change is people's way of dealing with, of living in those areas. So we promote things like, well, let's leave your area and take a walk at the park. The DMV area has a ton of trails and hiking spots, places you can really go out there and get some exercise free of charge. A lot of them are for we do not get charged for. So making use of our environment to affect a more positive health outcome and things like that. And the educational piece, of course, which we'll talk about our out of school clubs for our students. All right, just wanted to drive home the link between health, educational level attainment, and health outcomes. It's a very strong link, but of course there are contextual factors to consider. Generally speaking, someone with a higher educational attainment tends to have a more positive health outcome. And we are in the business of trying to explore how we can make that work for the minority community, specifically the Black community in this area. And so another reason, which really brings me to the reason why we focus on health promotion and scholastic achievement. I'm going to show you this graph. And if either one of you would like to take a guess as to why we can use life expectancy, health outcome as a proxy for life expectancy. So of course, if you have diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, heart disease, you tend to have a lower life expectancy. Can we agree on that? So it's a proxy measure. It's not exactly equate to each other, but it's a strong correlate. Right. So any guess as to why having a high educational attainment would lead to a higher life expectancy?
I think that having a higher level of education helps you to learn how to maintain, because each one of those I won't say disease conditions can be maintained. Like if you have diabetes, you can check your sugar, know how what to eat and what not to eat. Then
Okay.
obesity, you can exercise. So if you have education on what to do to better manage your condition, it could increase the life expectancy.
So I'm going to challenge that because that sounds more like health literacy. And a high school student who has been living with diabetes all his or her life, let's say it's a girl, all her life, probably has a higher health literacy around diabetes, dealing with diabetes than I would. And I have a doctorate because I don't have diabetes. I've never had to deal with it. So that's a little separate, but it's, you're kind of on the right track. But I always ask this because I want us to think outside the box and think of other factors that could affect you. So when you have a higher educational attainment, let's say someone with a college degree versus someone with a high school degree, what kind of health care do you think will differentiate them?
So I see where you're going. The better health insurance because they might have a
Health
better work.
insurance.
Yeah.
Yes. So the access itself, right? So the person with the college degree probably has the health benefits and all the perks that comes with it, as opposed to a high school graduate or even a high school dropout, right? And even more glaring, they may not even have like a regular health insurance. They may have the government Medicaid, rather than the health insurance where you have a bit more options. And not just that, the one with the high school degree, the kind of job they have typically, because folks make it on TikTok these days, so I can't speak in generalities anymore. But typically, that person with the high school who's a high school graduate or a high school dropout may not have the ability to take time off if they need to go see a doctor. So we have to go back to basics, the importance of even having access to the time to take from your work, from your chores to go and see a doctor for your annual checkup. Do you think someone who's working 2-3 jobs trying to make ends meet is going to have the luxury of taking a day off to go for it's just a well visit, not even that I'm sick, but I just want to make sure I'm fine? Probably not. So all those things are stacked against the person with the lower educational attainment. Can we agree on that? All right. So it's generally speaking in America, the higher your educational attainment, the better your health outcomes are. You typically have lesser rates of all these diseases and outcomes. Another thing to note is that generally speaking, and we're putting everyone in this black and white box, which I usually don't like to do, but generally speaking, white people have a higher life expectancy than Black people. And when I say Black, I've said this already, it includes African Americans, Africans from diaspora, Caribbean Americans. For some reason in America, we tend to have a lower life expectancy. And what's more glaring about this is when you now account for something like educational attainment, white people with lower educational attainment still start off at a higher rate, a better health outcome than Black people. Now, I've said this already before, there's a whole host of other issues we're contending with, the contextual issues, the social, the institutionalized racism and things like that. A whole bunch of things that are kind of like set up against us, which is quite unfortunate. So at the AFIA project, we are looking to harness the power of having higher educational attainment along with just having the health literacy and exposure to health and wellness, and hoping that we can push Black kids from the very beginning, or even wherever we meet the per individual in the community. It could be an older person, a middle-aged person. We can help push us towards a higher life expectancy. But definitely educational attainment is a huge part of the work that we do as well. Am I making sense so far? All right, cool.
100%.
Okay, great. And we try to do that at the community level. I tease my husband about this all the time. He's a medical doctor. Right? So I was like, well, you deal with a patient, you deal with one person at a time. Well, I'm a public health researcher, a practitioner, and we deal with the community. We deal with the masses. We go out there and try to ensure that we educate people at a mass level, at the community level, so that we can have a bigger bang for our buck, right? So we always do it at the community level. All right, so our three focal areas, remember that I shared with you: health promotion, scholastic achievement, and community engagement. Here are the programs that we have under them. It's a lot, right? Because from 2020 to 2023, this is a lot of stuff to have put together. But alhamdulillah, a lot of things have come very organically come together. Some of the things we've had to kind of push the pause button on because we don't have the manpower to do it, to continue with it. But definitely I would like to restart some of these programs, and I'll explain them to you. So let's look at the first one, health promotion. With that, we have our mental health program, which we call Courageous Conversations. We started out during COVID times with like a town hall meeting on Zoom, where we invited the elders, the parents, the community leaders to join us on a Zoom call just to discuss health and, mental health with in the community. At that point, I'm not sure if you remember, Black Lives Matter was kind of like brewing in the beginning of 2020. And it was also a good time for folks to kind of reflect on their lives and quality of life and things like that. So we started with the town hall meeting. Then we went on to doing more, focusing more on the youth, especially when the Black Lives Matter movement was coming up. So a lot of Black youth trying to figure, especially Muslims, trying to figure out, where do I fit in the fabric of the American fabric, so to speak. So we had discussions around that. We also had discussions around like how a lot of our kids are first, second, or third generation Americans. So their parents have immigrant backgrounds. So the clash between immigrant parents or parents with immigrant background trying to raise American kids, and the clashes that comes with that, the expectations. So we had various programming trying to help our students, as well as the parents and community members, kind of weed through the whole issue of mental health. As we know, in the Black community, we don't deal with mental health as well as we should. And also even in the Muslim community, it's not something that we deal with head on. Folks want to tell you, go and make dua. Dua is great, but Allah also gave us this other knowledge of medicine that you can use, therapy and things like that, that we can make use of for our health and wellness. So we focused on that with the Courageous Conversations. We had we focused on Black maternal and child health under our Sister Care Village program. And let me tell you, this was COVID times allowed me time to kind of reflect on the issue of the state of maternal and child health in America. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the statistics that Black women were almost 4 times as likely to die during childbirth than non-Black women. That's jarring. I don't think in any developing country that I've worked in, where you look at one tribe versus another tribe or one group of, like, it's that, for it to be that jarring. You would think, these are numbers for like developing country, developing world type numbers. So it's really sad, the state of Black maternal child health affairs here in America. So a lot of our programs centered on encouraging, well, first of all, helping Black women, pregnant Black women, kind of work through the whole obstetrics care. I don't even know, like just working through their maternal child health journey. And we end up with the conclusion that it's really in the best interest of Black women to go the doula route. So to have a doula to help them, in terms of advocacy, in terms of just better health outcomes and things like that. So we had a series for quite a bit with that. We've not started it back up because we really are trying to get a full-time doula to help take over that program. And we haven't gotten that just yet. But We did that for quite a bit during the during COVID shutdown, and we had great participation. There's definitely interest in the community for it. So we hope to get back to that. Next, we have our women's wellness programming, and this is specifically the women's wellness retreat. This is the retreat picture of some of the ladies that participated in the retreat just this past summer. We had about 21 total women who participated. I think right here, there are 15 of us. And the theme was like big hat, don't care. So everyone had a hat on. But this is a 4-day retreat where we focus on health and wellness in 4 areas. So we do social emotional wellness, financial wellness, because if you don't have money, if you can't feed yourself, you're not really well, right? Financial wellness, mental and physical wellness, as well as spiritual wellness over those 4 days. It was a great success. This is actually the 3rd year that we're doing it. The first year was 2020. Yeah. So yeah, we hope to continue along with that. And even some of the sisters suggested that we even have this the retreat, like a mid-year retreat, and not wait a whole year to go to have another one. So we're in conversations, because it means a lot more work to go to do that. So we're definitely considering having that maybe in the middle of the year sometime for a mid-year retreat. We also have monthly trail walks and hiking with the ladies. Next is our Let's Get Active program. This is what we have, where we have our community field day. So I'm not sure if you remember in grade school where you had field days, you competed, you had blue team, green team, red team, and so on and so forth. Again, we just had that this past September, earlier in September, but sorry, this was the first year the first year we did it. This is the second year we did it. We had a basketball tournament added to the crew, to the list of things that we did. And then this past year, we had another pretty decent turnout. I think the first year was about 75 community members that participated. Second year, we doubled that to about 150 participants. And at this past September, we had maybe about 75 individuals participate. About 50 individuals. But I think we just didn't do a great job marketing it enough to be able to get as many people. So, but it was still a success. And the next thing under our Let's Get Active programming is a Fall Family Fun 3K walk. And we usually do this at Lake Artemisia in Greenbelt, Maryland. This is what it looked like last year. And again, this is something we hope to continue to do every year. We usually do it the weekend of Thanksgiving. So we figured after you've eaten the turkey and everything, come work it out with us on that Saturday. I think it was Saturday that we do it. All right, so that's our health and health promotions piece. Now the scholastic achievement piece. We have 4 out-of-school clubs that we run. We have the Kids Club for 6 years and younger, Junior Stars. And by the way, STARS stands for Students Taking Action and Responsibility. I wish I could claim that. I did not come up with that. Someone with a bright idea came up with that, and it was like, we'll take it. So we have the Junior Stars, the Superstars, and our Senior Stars. This year, we're going to be focusing a lot more on our Senior Stars. And but I'm not sure if I included in this presentation. I was going to give you just a little bit of information. Okay. No, I don't have it here. But some of the themes that we deal with, that we cover throughout the school year with our students include financial literacy. We do social emotional learning with them, college and career preparedness. So for our Senior Stars this year, we're really going to hone in on things like essay writing, developing their resume, getting them ready for college or career, whichever one they decide, and helping them work through that whole process. And we want to get into mentorship. We actually started looking into how we can get our students paired up with someone in the community to mentor them. And this will be based on what their interests are. So if you're interested in like the financial industry, well, we have someone who works with NASDAQ, or someone who's an accountant that we can pair you up with in the community. All right. So we also do STEM enrichment. We actually partner with a sister organization that's also run by someone, a minority lady out of Montgomery County. SciTech to you. We offer tutoring and homework help to our students. And like I said, college preparedness, career preparedness. We do campus college visits with our students just to give them a sense of the different types of schools and things like that. And we do summer camps from time to time. Our out of school club this year, we're going to be meeting on the 2nd and 4th Saturday of every month. And, you know, things might change, but we'll clarify the actual dates beforehand. Okay, so some of the things that we do. All right. So next is our community engagement piece. With this, we do community health fair. We actually did our first community health fair. We paired it up with the community field day this past few weeks ago on September 2nd, where we kind of like had a mini community health fair. It's a trial run, but we hope to make it a whole program that can stand on its own, where we have community members come in for mini medical checkups, because at the end of the day, we want to take their numbers, get them to know what their blood pressure readings are, the blood sugar levels and the blood glucose levels and things like that. But at the end of the day, we want to be able to refer them to their primary care in the community. Other community drives that we do, drive-through food pickups, that was very popular during COVID times, back to school drive, Ramadan meals. We partner with different masjids around the community to sponsor iftar meals, and we volunteer and help around that. We also do Eid gift drives in the community. So this is what our community engagement looks like. So over here was one of the years that we did the packs, the Eid packs. And here is an example of what our back to school drive looks like. All right. So any questions so far? I know I've been talking for quite a bit and bombarding you with a whole lot of stuff. So I'm going to pause here and ask. I still have a few things to discuss, but I wanted to pause and give you a chance to ask questions. Sister
I
Owl?
don't have any questions.
Okay. Sister Owlette, I saw that you unmuted, but then you went back on mute. Oh, you're home. MashaAllah, it's good to see your face. You're muted. You're muted. You unmuted. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm trying to jump on my laptop and it's
No
then
problem.
using my iPod. Yeah, okay. So far, so good. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right.
It's interesting.
Excellent. All right. So, like I said, our out of school club is really our umbrella program. It is from here that we bring in new students to our program, and also even community members, and maybe pull in their parents and things like that. So this is kind of like our organic way of building onto the organization, the programming that we have. So it's from when we have students who are part of the out of school club, that we introduce them to our various health promotions, activities and programs, other scholastic achievement opportunities, and also community engagement pieces. So I wanted to highlight the importance of this group to you all. So if we seem to be focusing a lot on them, because they're that important, right? All right. So another thing, like I said, I want this you volunteering or intern with us to be something that's mutually beneficial. The AFIA project, this out my way. We are a certifying organization with the President's Volunteer Service Award Program, and the PVSA it's called. It recognizes the importance of, this entity recognizes the importance of the important role that volunteers in America's strength and nationality plays. So they offer, as long as we're able to collect your hours and report to them, they help us honor individuals whose services have positively contributed or impacted the community. And whenever you volunteer with us, you're definitely impacting the community. And in the past year, we've actually have quite a few of us who have earned the medals. Rukaya and Amina, they're from UMBC. They've actually graduated, so we're gonna miss them dearly. Amira Okpara is one of our board members who earned the silver medal, actually. So Rukaya and Amina earned the bronze medal, and I earned the gold medal, basically because of the number of hours that you put into the voluntary. So it's definitely something I encourage our students to do. We already have to, we're required to, for UMBC, the UMBC students that we have, we're required to collect the number of hours, report on the hours that you volunteer. But I really want you to focus on consider volunteering additional hours, because it's all going to go towards you being able to get something like this. And it's something that looks great on your CV. And even for those who are not in school, Sister Aulat, it's definitely something to include on your CV as well, inshallah. All right. Let's see. Oh, that's what the medals look like. All right. So to collect or to track our hours, we use an app called Volunteer. So if you can go ahead and please download that on your phone or tablet, that would be great. Another thing is I just started a new intern and volunteer group. If you can go ahead and take a picture of the QR code and join the group that way. And this is how we're going to be communicating for the most part. I think it'll be super duper helpful once everyone is on board with that. So I'm not having to send like 5 different emails to folks or text messages to folks. So go ahead and take a screenshot or take a picture of that so you can be connected. I'm assuming you both have a WhatsApp. Is that correct? Because we tried another program last year and it was a headache. It didn't work out very well. It was just too hard to manage. So we're gonna stick with WhatsApp.
Done.
All
Already
right.
joined.
Done? All right, cool. The Valentine, I would share with you the link to join, but go ahead and download the app itself so you're ready for it. The link will take you to the AFIA project. That way you can directly register under the AFIA project. And every hour, every single time you're thinking about the AFIA project, you're thinking about strategies for us, you're thinking about programming activities, they count towards your hours. Okay, so feel free to use that. It's going, have it handy as an app so you can easily log your time in. All right. So I wanted to share with you our plans for the rest of the year. We've already had the Community Field Day and Health Fair. So from October through December, we'll get started with our back to school and club meetings. And I'll keep you all posted. Things are still kind of like taking shape. And I'll keep you posted on that, exactly what we're going to be doing. Oh, by the way, we're going to be meeting in Suitland. We were able to secure an office in Suitland. I know in my in the volunteer form it says Lanham, but we're able to get somewhere better. Oh, mashallah, the AFIA project was one of 6 organizations, nonprofits in the PG County area to be selected to be part of the Ivy Vine. It's an incubator program. And part of the perks from that is having access to like a proper office space. Speak to anyone running a small nonprofit and we'll tell you, like, having to pay for office space is a huge deal when it comes to your budget. You basically don't have the budget for that. So it's a huge deal that we have access to this beautiful space called the Ivy Family Center in Suitland. So that's where we will be this year. And then November, we'll have the Fall Family Fun Walk, the 3K walk or run. The club meetings will continue from January through April, May, but we try to end around April, I believe, so that students will have time to kind of like prepare for their finals and not be, not have to think in terms of like volunteering at that point. And then for March, we are not sure, but if we're funded once again to work with our partner organization, SciTech2U, we may have another opportunity to do wellness through STEM type programming. In March, so usually during Ramadan, we have we host private iftars, and we invite sisters, and this is where we introduce more sisters in the community to what the plans are for the upcoming Sisters Wellness Retreat that usually takes place in July. So we start as early as March to prepare for this. And, this is just, I'm letting you know this just to have a sense of what activities are going on. And we usually have our volunteer appreciation dinner in April because we value our volunteers and interns. The retreat, inshallah, is planned for July 25th to the 28th. So mark your calendar. We actually would love for you to attend at the, and volunteer as well. So yeah, perhaps you can all be on the planning committee so we can have much more interest in activities. I would definitely say if you want to learn, get a sense of what it is we do during the retreat, go to our Instagram page, also our YouTube page, and kind of, type in the AFIA project, uses a few of the clips that we've posted there. All right. Oh, this is where I usually go into like common phrases we use, especially for the benefit of those who are not Muslims, because when our students are saying Salaam Alaikum, Bismillah, I need to make Salah. I don't want them to think we're speaking in some kind of crazy foreign language, but I really want them to understand what's going on. So, and I usually have this saved up on our shared drive. And that's, by the way, we're going to have a shared drive where we would be working in documents and things like that. I'll share that with you all at some point. Okay, that's a repeat. All right. Like I said, we are on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Please look for us, the AFIA Project. And like us, follow us, do all the cool things that folks do with social media. We really work hard to try to put out the things that we do so folks, can get to know us and things like that. And I'm always open to suggestions and as to how to make things better. Now, the intern and volunteer team meeting is typically Monday evenings. And I think, Suliat, someone said they couldn't, maybe it was, well, can you guys make it? The two of you, 7:30 on Mondays. Are you able to make it?
No, I have class at that time.
What time does your class end?
So I have class till 7 till 9.
Wow. Okay. Ooh,
Yes.
that doesn't work. All right. I guess it's back to the drawing board with that. We'll have to try to figure out what day and time works best, because what I did in the past was have 2 different meetings, and that was very stressful. I don't want to do it again. So we're going to try to have just one meeting with everyone. And sometimes we actually meet maybe every other week, depending on how much we need to discuss and prepare for the week. So that could change, but I definitely, it's like super important that everyone is there so we're all on board. So we'll check in and see about that. Yeah, I think that's all I have. That's it. Let me put this away.
Okay. Can you please go back to the WhatsApp page? The link.
Oh,
the QR code.
The QR code. Yes, ma'am. Let me open it up.
Yeah.
So if you want to take a screenshot of it, can you see it?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Got it?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Right, perfect. So that's all I have. Any questions, ladies?
So I have one question. So are we volunteering like remotely or physically? Like we have to be there?
Yeah. So for the most part, the things you do will be remotely, but when we have the actual like we're delivering the actual activity or program, like the out of school clubs, And hang on real quick. Okay. All right. So majority of the work, the background work that we do will be remote, but the actual activities like the out of school club will be in person. So out of school clubs will be second and fourth Saturdays of the month from October through April. Now there are opportunities to do additional things. Like we have something called Wellness Wednesday. We always need ideas around that. So every Wednesday we post something that has centers around health and wellness. Like I said, check out our Instagram page to get a sense of some of the things we do around that. So if you're interested in helping out with that, sure, let me know. We have blogs that we maintain. We've not been doing a whole lot on the blogosphere right now, but if there's an area that's of interest to you, and I've actually had some of our students, some of our UMBC students kind of do this in conjunction with a class project or assignment. You can blog about something. We've had topics around mental health specific to students, college students, COVID, how COVID has affected students or individuals, just general health and wellness. Another student of ours blogged about doula services for Black women. So then that was posted. All those are posted on our website, which is theafiaproject.org. So check those out. There's also opportunity if you're interested in kind of like the back end, the administrative part of a nonprofit, what it takes to run a nonprofit. Excuse me, we're going to have our board strategic planning meeting in October. It's going to be in Massanutten, Virginia, which is about 3 hours drive. If you're really interested, we can accommodate you. We can, if you're willing, interested in coming, it's folks arrive on Friday. It's Friday through Sunday. It's actually really Saturday and Sunday. The training is actually Saturday and Sunday. It's a training for the board members on everything from A to Z in terms of how to run, what the expectations are as board members, what they should be doing. So if you're interested in that, because I remember reading, Suliat, that you're interested in starting your own NGO, that would be a great experience for you. We'll cover your room and board. We don't have stipend, like extra money to give you, but we'll feed you and we'll house you. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Also, Sister Aula, you're welcome. If you would like to join us, maybe you can be on the board. We're always looking for board members.
Oh,
So, sorry, the
what
date.
date is that though?
Yes, the date. Let me see. It's going to be October 21st and 22nd. So the 21st is a Saturday and 22nd is Sunday. If you want to carpool, folks are probably leaving on Friday to carpool, so they can get there and be ready to go by Saturday, inshallah. So I would strongly encourage you, especially if you have an interest in the nonprofit world or NGOs and things like that, because a lot of the work that's done, I kind of mentioned it, but I didn't share much with you. My doctoral dissertation was actually centered around sustainability of non-governmental organizations in developing countries. And I'm realizing that a lot of the things that I, researched is very useful in the domestic world. I actually did not think I would work domestically. It was sort of accidental. And I was like, okay, I'll roll with it, because the international world has always been where I saw myself and where I've always done work. But it's been gratifying to see how that experience translates and how the skills translate either domestically or internationally. So I think it'll be worth your while. So definitely consider that. So I have another. You're welcome. You're welcome. And let me know.
That weekend, unfortunately, I'll be in Texas.
Oh, okay. No problem. No problem.
Yeah, but it's something definitely that I will be interested in.
Okay. Excellent. Inshallah.
And do you just have that one for once a year, or how often?
Yeah, we're planning to have that once a year. That's where we're going to take that time to really plan out our whole year. you know, we're still a relatively young organization. We're just 3 years in. So that's a lot to cover. And it's been a learning process for me. When I worked, I was more on the evaluation side. So we get USAID money or CDC money, and we go out there, and I'm responsible for monitoring and evaluating the program itself. But having to kind of manage everything under the sun that has to do with the organization is very different. So I'm learning as I go, and I really appreciate the opportunity we have with Ivy, the Ivy Vine Incubator Program, that's really helping us along. So this is part of it. Having this strategic planning meeting is part of the things that we need to institute so that we can become what is termed the Standards for Excellence organization. And that would make it easier for us to be able to get access to grants, from the municipal level to state level to perhaps even federal level. So it's a big deal that we're doing that. So yeah.
Great.
All righty, so I'm going to stop the recording.